Before the dwarves carved Ironforge, before even the Curse of Flesh, there were the Earthen, Azeroth's first guardians, shaped by the Titans themselves. But their story isn't just ancient history. With the war within bringing them back as a playable race, it's time to uncover what really happened to these stone-skinned protectors, and the cut lore we missed out on from their past. The Earthen weren't just made by the Titans, they were perfect. Crafted from Azeroth's crust and imbued with the power of the Forge of Wills. They built vast underground kingdoms and mined to their heart's content, a trait that would be later passed down for millennia. But the Titans gave them directives. They were tasked with maintaining Alderman and Titan machinery, much like the Forge of Wills itself. Stone bodies that could withstand any temperature, their strength far outweighing their stature. They were perfectly sculpted, natural protectors. Now, according to the WoW RPG series, a non-canon set of books, they lived in crystalline cities, glittering paradises, a gift of Azeroth itself. Though this isn't canon, it hasn't been touched on in WoW yet, so we can only hope we get to see something like this in game. Then during Loken's betrayal, his corruption froze a huge portion of these dwarves in stasis, sparing some from Yogg-Saron's curse. But then, everything changed. The Curse of Flesh didn't just soften their bodies, it made them mortal. But where other Titanforged fell to despair like the Vrykul, the Earthen adapted, much like our friends the gnomes, which you can check out my video on them too. A little factoid here, you can see in this short, lore-filled questline at the end of Alderman, there are two forms of instability the Earthen can take. One being the dwarves, a fleshy, sturdy and stout counterpart to their rocky ancestor. And the other, believe it or not, the trogs. The borderline mindless malcreations with that same urge to dig, but no purpose to protect, only to fight anything and everything in its path. Now, the Earthen emerging from Alderman were confused by their new flesh. They could feel, they could create, but it didn't take them long before they formed the foundations of a new empire. They formed the Bronzebeards, Wildhammers, and the Dark Irons. They split from their stone-skinned cousins to form beautiful under-mountain homes. In fact, the original Dun Moreau had non-hostile Earthen near the Frostmane Trolls, but this was removed to create a disconnection between the dwarves and their original form. Now, the Earthen we know are just a fragment of what Blizzard plans. Hidden in the files a darker, richer history, one that almost reshaped Wrath. There was actually a data-mined rep faction named the Stoneborn, who were allied with Bran Bronzebeard, most likely to be found in this little earthen hub right here. There were quests focused on purging Yogg-Saron's corruption from Ulduar's Titanforged. And just as a side note here, Ulduar does have a bit of extra cut content as well. It is also my favourite raid, so if you would like a video on that, please let me know. I would love to deep dive it. Anyway, that was cut, and why? Possibly due to having a bunch of rep grinds for Wrath already, and in an expansion focused mainly on Arthas, it was a little bit too much Titan lore for an expansion about the Lich King, which is a great shame. Now, of course, we get so many race rumours for each expansion of what could come next, and there was even a rumour that spread that we'd have them as an alliance counterpart to goblins in place of the Worgens during Cataclysm. When I was doing my last video on the Pandaren, there was an extra piece here where Pandaren archaeologists referenced earthen tablets in Valley of the Four Winds, hinting at ancient contact, which is absolutely mind-boggling, since the lands of Pandaria would have been, at the time, a great power struggle across the Mogu Empire, one that had absolutely no respect for Titan-forged beings like the Earthen. So what were Blizzard gonna hint at there? An alliance? Most likely a war. But that would have been really cool for them to go into. I mean, that is fascinating. Anyway, now with the War Within bringing the Earthen full circle, playable at last, and closer than ever to the Titan origins, what does it mean for Azeroth? A race with such deep lines of lore, thousands of years of history in every step they take. And that big question, will they reconnect with the dwarves or forge their own path? The Earthen were meant to be Azeroth's eternal guardians, but they were forgotten. Now they're back, and their return could rewrite everything we know about Titan influence. Maybe the real question isn't where they've been, but where they're going. I am excited to see what Blizzard has in store for us. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you do enjoy WoWLore and the cut content between the lines, please do subscribe. I have a big video planned to release on Thursday, looking at the 2 cut content islands from WoW's beta map. I'll be delving into the plan from Blizzard, as well as, courtesy of a suggestion made by this comment and this kind of conversation, we'll be looking at how Turtle WoW, a brilliant handmade additional fan lore server, what they did with it essentially, like the lore there. And yeah, I'm just really excited. Thank you so much again, and have a lovely day.